Alrighty, so this is just We the People News. I'm going to stand arm length from this video, okay? There's going to be a 5-part series. This first one is going to be kind of slow, so be patient. That way that you can get the full understanding of it. And it's going to have a bunch of variables all through the 5 parts, right? That we actually all need to know. This is not want to know or yeah. This is actually some things that we need to know, and I'm going to stretch that need out very far. Okay? Um, anyway, let's go ahead and proceed forward. I'm going to try to keep this in 10 minutes of each video.
General Flynn, tune me in. Enlightening generals is my duty. For if ye were blind, ye should have no sin. I make sure the good generals got plenty of light to see what's going on. On Thursday, September 15th, 2022, the 159th anniversary of Proclamation 104, suspending the writ of habeas corpus throughout the United States. There's a good chance that's still going on, sir. Something you might talk about a little bit today. And I am Staff Sergeant Robert Allen Rafusky, U.S. Army veteran. DOD ID number 12112800006. Sir, if you were to check my record, you'd see, well, the man's got a 97% ASVAB score. I was in an MOS. There were only 125 of us in the entire active duty Army. Right? In an Army of 780,000, we were 125. So that's like 10,000, so 1%. We're almost as rare as rocking horse shit. And I went from there to a job where I was one of 112 in the entire nation. Right? It's pretty rare. Right? Taking care of nuclear power plants. So, I'm fairly sure, sir, I know what I'm talking about. Right? I'm going to give you some facts. You don't need to believe me, just believe the facts. Like, my specialty is going finding the facts. I'm trying to get them in front of somebody. And I am known as Rob Ryder. I have a YouTube channel, Rob Ryder, with 3 B's, R-O-B-B-B-R-Y-B-B-R. My email address is for the record at AOL.com. And so here's an idea, sir, just some of the things where I wanted to make a list so that you can see what I want to talk about. So General Flynn, be advised that the Constitution of the United States has been suspended. Right? Joe Biden did not execute the oath in the second article of the Constitution of the United States. All you need to do, sir, is go look at the second article. It's in the first section of the second article, if I'm not mistaken. And then go watch Joe's lips and listen to what Esquire Roberts says to Joe.
That being said, people, don't take that out of contents, okay? It's not a Democrat or Republican thing. He went after Trump on this also, and other presidents before him, okay? So this is not a Democrat-Republican president thing. This is an oath of office thing, period, okay? Just want to be clear on that.
All right, he says, I, and it has Joe put his name in, and at the end says, so help me God. Well, neither of those are in the oath for the president. Right? So they counterfeited taking the oath of the president. Now, some people say, well, that's not a big deal, and I have to disagree. This is my advantage of having worked at a nuclear power plant. No, that's a big fucking deal. That's a jot and a tittle, right? You'll do it exactly the way it's written, or it isn't done right. Right? If you didn't do what it said to do, then you didn't do it right, and you gave a false oath. And since the time of Henry VIII, avoiding a loyalty oath is an act of treason against the sovereign, which in our case is the Constitution. Well, that's not bad enough. Then alleged incumbents required by the 6th article to execute oath avoided doing it. So if you go to the 6th article and you look at this as the senators and representatives and the state legislatures and the executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall execute an oath to support the Constitution. No religious test shall be required. Something like that. Paraphrasing. Well, that oath was written in the very first law that was passed after the Constitution was ratified by the same people that ratified the Constitution or wrote the Constitution, right? Then they made up the Congress, and first law they passed has in it that says, well, here's the oath that's going to satisfy the 6th article of the Constitution. Nobody takes it, sir. Well, and then it gets, even more personal, because there are no state registered qualified electors for presidential elections. You cannot have electors unless they've been registered and qualified according to the state legislature, which in Michigan, it's written in the Michigan election law what you need to do to be a registered qualified elector, and nobody is. And what it takes to do, just so you would know what you had, is you would have had to go on in front of a registration to register as an elector and swear to your statements before the clerk. Right, which is not what you do when you go to register to vote. You just sign some papers, they give you, you're registered. You can do it when you get your driver's license. Hell, they'll do it for you. We presumed you wanted it done, so we just went ahead and did it for you. Right? That is not the same as going before a clerk and raising your hand and taking
Sorry about the background, I was playing.
an oath. And that's what's required to be a registered qualified elector in your state, right? It's a state requirement. Well, then in accordance with Article 2 of the Legal Code, the United States is still under military rule. And we're going to go look at it just so everybody can see it, but basically, if martial law has been declared, the only way to undeclare it is for there to be a peace treaty or a special proclamation for the commander-in-chief. And so you're going to have to show me where the United States has come out of martial law. Because if you suspended the writ of habeas corpus, the only reason you can do it under the Constitution is because there's an insurrection or a rebellion going on, which would be grounds for martial law to have been declared, and the whole Lieber Code was meant to be the government of the United States in a wartime situation, in a Civil War, domestic war situation. Right? And then the United States, the Union, is not the United States of America, which is a crown possession. Right? The United States of America has a right to be in the United States, but it's not the United States. It was a compromise after the Revolutionary War, where the United States of America, created under the Articles of Confederation, and United States of America, which was the people that were living here that really wanted to still be under the crown. Well, not everybody wanted to revolt, right? Well, they came up with a compromise, put it under the Constitution, where the United States is the union of these two groups, and but that Constitution's been suspended because nobody's taken an oath to, be an officer. And, so the only people that have taken a proper oath in the United States are military personnel, right? The military execute proper oaths. Officers have their version, enlisted have their version, and my version was on my DD Form 4 that you fill out as part of your enlistment process, and there's the oath on there with my name on it, and I signed it, right? Yeah, I know what oath I took. And it says I need to protect and defend the Constitution, or support and defend the Constitution of the United States. Well, that Constitution says that people got to take the proper oath of office, and nobody's done it. And so, by avoiding the oath, they're committing an act of treason. We don't have, we don't have a Congress. We don't have governors. None of these people are who they say they are. They're actually pretending to be the government for the United States of America, which is a crown possession, and guess who their agents are? Esquires. Right? Esquire is a crown agent. So they're running this, this side parallel private jurisdiction that they've drug us all into, instead of us being under the United States. Even though it's a military government, it would be fine for me. I'm a veteran. It'd be beneficial for me. And then a little bit more, right? So the Gold-Fringed flag then, which is all over the place, is a symbol of military governments. The flag of the United States, including the Gold-Fringed flag, is only authorized to be displayed by organizations and offices connected to the military, whereas otherwise authorized by AR 840-10. So the wartime military government agencies, including Christian churches, commissioned NGOs display gold fringe flags. I wanted to point that out just because. So any place you see a gold fringe flag is somehow tied to the military. Well, any person who's gone to court, there's normally a gold fringe flag sitting in there, although they're getting smarter now to keep them out. But, you know, or the sheriff has gold fringe flag, or the township has gold fringe flag. All these places have gold fringe flags. They're all part of the military government. It's just they're not paying any attention to it. The general hasn't come to, to do an inspection. So they've been away too long. But it doesn't change the fact that it is. And then in 1917, it was actually FDR. He was like the Secretary of War at the time, or Secretary of the Navy, or something. Maybe the Secretary of the Navy. But they had the churches create these organizations. And so for the Catholics, it was the National Catholic Defense. I can't remember the name. I did videos on it. But whatever the name of it was. And they gave it a commission, a military commission. Well, those commissions are still good. And they're supposed to act as cooperating agents for the parishioners with the military, other agencies, which is any place with a gold fringe flag. Because as an individual, you're not supposed to go to some place with a gold fringe flag except your window. Right? That gold fringe flag. And then they go to other people. They act as agents. Well, in the military, it'd be the military. But for other people, it could be the church, or it could be, for veterans, it could be the American Legion, because they have a gold fringe flag. But they didn't do their paperwork right to be properly registered in the state, so, technically they're not the American Legion. It's written in their charter. They didn't follow it. And I've done videos on all this stuff, sir. It's just the truth, right? And then
all right, we're going to pause there. But for argument's sake, y'all, even from arm length, if any one of y'all actually go to your church again, look and see if that gold fringe flag is not there. And once again, this is a 5-part video. It'll go into more details of this, okay? So, catch you on the next one. Alright, arm length, this is the way the people move.